This is soyachinchow.com, and we're taking a quick look at the Sony Xperia Z or Xperia Z. This is a new flagship device from Sony, new for 2013. Before that, let's talk a bit more on the design. So the Sony Xperia Z comes with this new clean look. It's very symmetrical, both top and bottom looks quite identical as well. And they have done away with this front capacitive button, so everything now is moved to the screen. In terms of design, it's actually using glass for both front and back, as you can see over here. Over at the sides, you have this reflective panel that runs on all four sides. And if you look closely, for this black color version, it has this bluish little tint. And around the edges here, it has this rubberized frame that goes across, which is quite nice to touch. And since this is a water and dust resistive device, it has flaps all over. So there's actually 4 flaps to cover the headphone jack over here. You have the micro SD slot over here. Let's try to open that. Yep, micro SD over here, and this is the micro USB charging and connectivity port. And you have this docking port for the Xperia Z dock. On the right side here, you have this power button that actually stands out pretty well. It's quite nice to touch, but we just feel that it could be better if it's a bit deeper. There's more feel to it, but it's still quite alright. We like the placement on the right, which is easier to reach. And there's actually a volume rocker down here. The micro SIM slot actually goes right here. It's actually quite discreet. Okay, so you're having the trace inside over here. Below here, you have a loudspeaker, and it is also this a pass-through hole for your lanyard and various mobile accessories. Over the back, you get a 13 megapixel camera with assisted flash, and there's a secondary mic over here. Over the front, you have this 2 megapixel front-facing camera that does 1080p HD videos, and the notification light actually goes over here. It's quite discreet. So let's talk about the interface. So it comes with Android 4.1.2 Jelly Bean with a typical Sony skin, and powering the device is a quad-core 1.5 GHz processor. In fact, this is the first quad-core smartphone from Sony, and it comes with 2 gigs of RAM and 16 gigs of storage, which you can expand with micro SD. And in terms of interface, it's slightly refreshed from the previous Xperias, kind of like this one. Yes, the typical look and feel of Sony. Everything's actually quite refined. You get this nice interface for various inbuilt apps. And what's new here is that most smartphones, typically you have a native browser, but for Sony Xperia Z, they have done away with that. So you get this Chrome browser out of the box, and it's defaultly installed. And another thing that's new on the Xperia Z is that you have these mini apps when you do this task visual thing. So you can actually run calendar on top of your existing apps. The only thing about this though is that you only can run 1 mini app at a time. So if I switch to a timer, it kills the previous one. So it's only 1 at a time. But nevertheless, it's still a nice feature to have. Okay. And also in terms of display, it comes with a 5-inch Full HD display that does a resolution of 1920 x 1080. It's quite sharp. We kind of like it. But compared to the HTC Butterfly, it looks a bit washed out. And partly that's responsible by the auto brightness settings over here. So what we noticed is that if you enable these adapt lighting conditions, somehow it doesn't really stand out. So we recommend that if you prefer to have a better image quality, you better disable that. But still, side by side, the HTC Butterfly still somehow has an edge for the display. In terms of a viewing angle, there's quite limitation to it. So let's say, for example, if this is a web browser, it will tilt it a little bit downwards. You notice that there's a slight discoloration of the light color text over here. But it's not really a big issue, since most of the time, as a personal device, you'll be looking straight dead onto the front. Okay, in terms of volume, okay, there's another concern here. Since the volume is replaced, the speaker is placed on the bottom over here. For right-handed people, you tend to hold the device like this, and this somehow muffles the output from the from the device. So let's just try to play a video. Let's try to see this one here. Yep, better of the ear. So we're playing like this in landscape mode. It's fine. It's quite loud. However, you hold it in portrait mode like this, you notice that you actually muffle the speaker. And what we notice is that when we submerge this device into water and once it comes back up, the speaker is actually quite muffled. This is probably due to water droplets being stuck on this mesh grill cover here, so you need to wait for it to dry out before you can actually push out optimal audio volumes. Next thing I want to talk about is the camera. So previously in the previous Sony Xperia, you have a dedicated button that can do fast capture. So what that means is that you can actually you can take a picture from slip to snap in 1.5 seconds. But for this, since there's no dedicated camera button, you have to do it from this screen over here. So it just right over, and notice that it's a bit slower. Well, we kind of missed the fast capture on the Sony Xperia, and we don't understand why they did not include it in the Xperia Z. Strangely, for the Xperia ZL, it does come with a dedicated shutter button over here. So yeah, if you want to take faster pictures, probably you need to consider ZL, but that's a personal choice. Yeah. In terms of battery life, in our day-to-day usage, it lasted about 14 hours with all notifications enabled. And if you want to push it further, there's something called there's a power management tool over here. So there's stamina mode, which actually turns off the data when your screen is off, and if you want to push it a little bit further, there's low battery mode. So that disables various unnecessary functions such as vibration when you touch the screen. Okay. In terms of battery, it's rated at 2300 mAh, which is quite decent for this phone, considering that it's only 7.9mm thin. Not as thin as the iPhone 5, but it's quite thin for its class, and in the hands it's pretty okay, decently weight, although it's 145 grams. So this is a closer look at the Sony Xperia Z. It's coming out to Malaysia this month. And thanks for the likes, thanks for the comments, and thank you for your subscription. This is soyachinchao.com. Thank you for watching.